Hello everyone. So in this particular video I'm going to demonstrate the simple calculator application of the mobile application development particular course. Okay, so I'll click on create new project, empty activity, next. Then here I am going to give the name for the project. Name is simple. Okay, I'll name it as simple calculator. Okay, then ensure that language selected is Java, and always we go with the minimum SDK, that is the lowest SDK we select to ensure that your application runs on all higher versions of Android. So click on finish. Okay, then next what you have to do is, as you can see, there are two files, activity main.xml and main activity.java. So in the activity main.xml we are going to write the XML code which corresponds to the design. Okay, in activity.java file we are going to write the logic, okay, to make the application interactive. So in main.xml there are three views. Either you can see only the code, or you can see only the design, or you can see split, that is both code and design together. So I'm going to go with only design. Then I'm going to minimize all other windows. So first I'm going to delete this default text view which comes when you open the project. Then I'm going to place one text view. Then I'm going to change its text attribute to simple calculator. Okay, then I'm going to increase the size of the text. Okay, size I'll make as 30 sp. Then I'll bring it to the center. Next I'm going to place a edit text, also called as plain text. So by default there is text called name, so I'm going to remove that. Then I'm going to expand the width of this particular view. Okay, then next I'm going to place buttons. So you know that simple calculator requires buttons for all numbers from 0 to 9 operations, plus, minus, multiplication, division. Then there must be a button corresponding to equal to, dot. Then there must be a button corresponding to clearing. Okay, so first I'm going to set the width and height. So width is 64 dp, height also I'm going to make as 64 dp. Then button ID I'm going to give as button 7. Okay, then text I'm going to change to 7. So this is first button. Then size of the text I'm going to increase, let me change it to 7. So this is first button. Then I'm going to create other buttons by copying this button. So Control C, Control V. So next button is created. Okay, so size is anyhow 24 sp itself. Text I am going to change to button 8. Then ID is also changed to button underscore 8. Okay, then I'm going to copy these two buttons together, Control C, Control V. Okay, for creating, so third button I'm going to consider as button 9. ID is button underscore 9 and text is 9. So last button I'm going to consider it as operation division. So ID is button underscore div and text is changed to the symbol representing the division operation. So first row of buttons are created. I'm going to select all of them, copy and paste to create second row. In the second row, first button is button 4. So ID I'm going to change to button underscore 4. Okay, but this ID already exists. Okay, so I think so this is okay. So this one, let me use button 4. That's it. I'm not going to give underscore, button 4. Then text is changed to 4. The next button is 5. Anyhow it is button underscore 5 itself. Then text is 5. Next one is anyhow okay, it is button underscore 6. I'm going to change. Then text is 6. Then last one is, I'm going to use that button for representing multiplication operation. Then text is symbol representing the multiplication. Okay, so 2 rows of buttons are created. I need 2 more rows, so I'm going to select all 8 of them together, copy and paste. So 2 more rows are created. So here, okay, so this one I'm going to change the ID to button underscore 1. Okay, then text is changed to 1. Then next button is button underscore it is 2. Then text is 2. Next one is button underscore 3 is the ID. Text should be changed to 3. Then the last button is, I'm going to consider it as addition. So button underscore plus is the ID. Then symbol, plus symbol must be used in the text. Okay, then 4, 5, 6 I'm going to consider first button in the last row for representing dot. So button underscore dot is the ID, and text must be changed to dot. Then we need 0. So button underscore 0 is the next ID. Then text is also changed to 0. Then we need equal to operation. So I'm going to consider third button in the last row as equal. Then text is changed to the symbol representing equal operation. Then last button corresponds to minus. So ID is button underscore minus. Then symbol minus should be used in the text attribute. So now almost design is almost ready. Now we need to give the constraint. So you can see the component tree here. So in the component tree, as you can see, parent is constraint layout, and there are many views inside that parent. As you can see, there is exclamatory mark coming for all buttons and other views, because none of them are constrained. So I'm going to select all of them, okay, like this. Then I'm going to click on this particular icon, align horizontally. First I'm going to do. Then next I'm going to click on that align once again. I'm going to align vertically. So all views are aligned vertically, like all are constrained now. Now what I'm going to do is, I need one more button for clearing. Okay, for clearing purpose I need one more button. So what I'm going to do is, the last row of the buttons I'm going to select one by one, and I'm going to increase the bottom margin maybe to 100. Okay, so 100 I'm going to give as the bottom margin for all the buttons in the last row. Okay, so that one more button can be inserted at the end. Okay. Then I'm going to copy one of the button, Control C, Control V. Okay, button came. I'm going to delete the constraint for that copied button. Okay. Then I'm going to change the ID for that button to button C. Then text also I'm going to change to C. Okay. Now I'm going to constrain this. So I'm going to constrain vertically, and I'm going to constrain horizontally. So I'm going to place it here by pulling it. Okay. So now as you can see, the design is ready. Okay, this is about the design part. So next we need to write the logic corresponding to the working of the simple calculator. So logic I'm going to include in main activity dot java. So this is the design. So now if you run this, let's see what happens. Okay, just click on this particular icon, run. So now it's still this is the older application which I developed earlier. Okay, so now Gradle build is running, so it will take some amount of time. Okay, So once Gradle build finishes, what happens is your application gets installed in the emulator and it gets launched. So you can see those messages also here in this particular position. So right now Gradle build is running. Okay, so during this time I'll just go to the Java file. So installation is being taking place. So now your application is installed. So now you can see the simple calculator app is being launched in the emulator. So now you click on any buttons, nothing is taking place because you have not written logic corresponding to any of these buttons. Okay, we have seen how to design the calculator activity. So next we need to see how to include functionalities for each of the buttons which are there in the calculator app. So for that, for writing the calculator logic, we need to open the main activity.java file. Okay, so here first I need to create variables. So I have created many buttons and I have created a edit text. So for each of the buttons and the edit text, I am going to create the handle. Okay, I can also call it as variable. So for buttons variable type is button. Okay, and for each of the button I need to create a, okay, so this is I'm going to do inside the main activity, public class main activity, just before the override. So button 1, okay, button 2. So for each of the view or for each of the widget which is there in the activity, I need to create the handle or the variable. Button 3, button 4, button 5, button 6, button 7, okay, button 8, second, button 9, button 0. Okay, so now button is the variable type is in red color, that means there is error cannot resolve. I need to import the required class. So when I import, this particular class got imported, import android.widget.button. So in that class this particular type is defined. So next I'm going to create few more button variables. Button, so 0 to 9 is done. Now for the operators, for the equal, for dot, for C, for those widgets I need, for those views I need to create the variable. So button underscore multiplication, button underscore minus, button underscore plus, button underscore division, comma, button underscore dot, comma, button underscore C, comma, button underscore equals. So all required handles are created for all the buttons which are there in the activity. Next I need to create one handle for the edit text, and I'm going to use the name result for that, because you know that result is also will be displayed in the same edit text. You are going to give the expression in that edit text itself, and result of that expression on clicking equals gets appeared in the same edit text. That's why I'm going to use the name result for the edit text. Next what I have to do is for each of these handles must be linked with the appropriate view or appropriate element of the activity. So for button 1, what I have to do is button 1 equal to find view by id of r.id dot button 1, okay, r.id dot button 1. So button underscore 1 is the id of button 1, okay. Similarly for button 2, button 2 is equal to find view by id of r.id dot button underscore 2. Okay, so this has to be done for all the buttons, that is for buttons from 0 to 9 as well as for button equal, plus, minus, multiplication, divided by, dot C, for all the buttons. So total 17 buttons are there in the simple calculator. For all those buttons you need to do this, that is variable which is declared in the Java file must be linked with the element which is there in the design, or the view which is there in the design. So this has to be done for each button. So already I have typed this, so just I'm going to copy that. Okay, so this same statement has to be repeated for all the buttons. So button C, so find view by ID has to be there for each element which is there in the design, including buttons as well as edit text. So result is nothing but a variable of type edit text. So you need to link this particular variable result which is declared in the Java file with the element which is there in the design, which is represented by the ID result. Okay, so this is find view by ID, which has to be done for all elements, or all the elements which are interactive. So I have not done this for this simple calculator which is a text view, because it's not an interactive element. So it just displays the title of this app, simple calculator, that's it. There is no specific functionality for this particular text view. That's why I'm not going to link it with any particular handle of the Java file. But all other elements, they are linked with handles which are there in the Java file. So we are going to, we are going to program all these elements using these variables which are declared in the Java file. Okay, next, so all handles are obtained for all views which are there in the design. Next step is to create a function which gets executed when you click on these buttons or the edit text. So what I do is, first I am going to declare a method. So public void on click, this method I am going to declare with one parameter view v. So again view is cannot be resolved, that's why I need to import the class android.widget.view. that particular class gets imported when you click on that import class. Okay, now I open the brace. Now here what I need to do is, for each of the buttons starting from button 0 to button 9, all operators dot equal then C. For all the buttons I need to set on click listener. So button 1 dot set on click listener of this on click. So whenever you click on button 1, this particular function gets called, and button 1 itself is passed as an argument, okay, which gets assigned to this particular parameter v. Okay, so whenever you click on button 1, on click method is called, so control comes to this on click method, and this view v is the parameter which is nothing but it is equal to button 1 if button 1 is the reason for this on click method to be called. Similarly for button 2, button 2 dot set on click listener of this on click. Okay, so this on click listener has to be set for all buttons, but for edit text we are not going to do this, because edit text, what it will do is, it will just whatever input you give using this button gets displayed in that edit text. So you are not going to click edit text, or that particular feature is not required in particular simple calculator application. So this particular, you need to set on click listener for all the buttons, button 0 to 9 plus minus star division dot equal C. For all the buttons we need to set this on click listener. So already I have typed this. Okay, so 1 2 is done. From 3 onwards I need to set this on click listener. Okay, so here so on click listener is set for all the buttons. That means whenever you click on either button 0 to 9 or any of these operators or C or equal or dot, what happens is control comes to this on click method, and this view V parameter will be equal to the button which caused this on click method to be called. Okay, now here we need to write the code. So whenever you click on one, what should take place? That particular logic you are going to include in this particular on click method. So here, if button clicked is 0, if V dot equals off, what happens? If V dot equals off, button 0, what should happen? What should happen? So in the edit text, 0 should be added. So result is nothing but the handle for the edit text. Result dot set text of 0. This is what should take place. Okay, this is the action to be taken whenever you click on button 0. Okay, similarly if button clicked is button 1, if V dot equals of button 1, what should happen is result dot set, not set text, result dot append of 1. Set text means what will happen is whatever is there in the edit text gets erased. Okay, but whenever you click on any of the buttons, what is supposed to happen is already existing data should remain as it is. If suppose already number 1 is there in the edit text, and if you press 2, what should happen? Number should be changed to 12. 1 should remain as it is. That's why we are using the append function. Okay, but if suppose if view is equal to which one? Button C. Button C. In that case we are going to use result dot set text. Set a text of nothing. That means whenever the button clicked is C stands for clear. So if you click button C, whatever text is there in the edit text has to be cleared. That's why result dot set text is used only for button C. For other buttons, you're going to use append. So this has to be repeated for all the buttons. Button clicked is 0, 0 is appended. 1 means 1 is appended. 2 means 2, 3 means 3, like that. 0 means 0. Then only for equal we are not going to perform this operation. Except equal, for all other buttons we are going to perform this append operation. That's why I'm going to copy all those directly. So here 3, okay, 0 has to be removed. Okay, so this particular functionality has to be added for all the buttons. So button 0 is appearing twice. Okay, now so if button pressed is 0, 0 is appended, 1 means 1 is appended, 3 means 3. Okay, 2 is missing, I think. 2 has to be added. Okay, 2 has to be added. Okay, let me add it. So here 0, 1, 2. Okay, so if button pressed is 2, 2 is appended, 3 means 3 is appended, like that. Dot means dot is appended, plus means plus sign is appended, minus means minus, like that. So all are same. Okay, all are same, there is no difference at all. Next, what I am going to do is if V dot equals, if the button equal is pressed, if V dot equals of button equal, in that case the action is different. In that case the action is different. What I am going to do is I am going to create a string variable, string data. Okay, I am going to create a string variable, string data, which is equal to whatever expression is there in the text box. So result dot get text dot toString. So whatever expression user has entered in the text box, that gets stored in data when equal button is pressed. So if you have 1 plus 2, then you press equal, what happens? 1 plus 2 is the current content of the text box that gets stored in string variable data. Similarly, I am going to declare another variable double answer for storing the answer after evaluating the expression which is stored in data. Okay, now next I'm going to check if data is nothing but the expression entered by the user, which is there in the text box. So if data dot contains of, if there is slash, if there is division operation in the expression, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a function. So for that, first I'll declare the function. Okay, so public double calculate of string C, string data. So this particular function I'm going to declare, just definition I'm going to write later. So if there is division operation in the expression entered by the user, then I'm going to call answer equal to, because this calculate function returns double, answer is also of type double. As you can see, answer is of type double. So whatever value returned by this calculate gets stored in answer. So I'm going to call calculate of, I'm going to pass division symbol, data, the expression entered by the user. So this is what I'm going to do if data dot contains of division operation. Similarly, else if data dot contains of multiplication operation, I'm going to write answer is equal to calculate of, I'm going to pass multiplication symbol, data. Okay, next, else if data dot contains of, which one, plus sign, what I'm going to do is again answer equal to calculate of, I'm going to pass plus symbol, data. Okay, else if data dot contains of minus, in that case I'm going to call answer equal to calculate of minus, data. Else if there is none of these operators in the expression entered by the user, then what I am going to do is answer is equal to double dot parse double of data, that is the expression entered by the user. It is in data is of type string, it gets converted to double before assigning it to the answer, because answer is of type double. Then at the end result dot set text of string dot value of answer is of type double. So we are extracting the string value, we are converting it into string before we are displaying it on the edit text, which is represented by the handle result. So this is the action to be taken, or this is the code to be executed in case equal button is pressed by the user. Okay, whenever user gives equal as the input, this is the set of instruction to be executed. Okay, next I'm going to define this calculate function. So here in calculate, what I'm going to do is again I'm going to declare double answer one variable for storing the answer, which is initialized with 0, I'm declaring two more variables, operand 1, operand 2. Okay, then I'm going to declare a string array, string operands equal to data dot split of, data is nothing but the expression entered by the user, okay, which is there in this parameter. Here while calling you are passing data, so that particular argument gets assigned to this parameter data. Here I am going to split that based on either plus, minus, or star, or divided by. Based on one of these I am going to split the, okay, I am going to split it. So here order is important, so I am going to write it minus, plus, star, divided by. Okay, minus, plus, star, order is important. Then so after splitting there should be only two operands. So in the calculator you are supposed to enter only simple expression 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3 you can enter, but 2 plus 3 plus 3, this is not a valid expression. Okay, so you're going to split the expression entered by the user either by minus, plus, star, or divided by. After splitting there should be only two elements in this array. So after splitting you are assigning it to this particular array, and this particular array should have only two elements. Then that means it's a valid expression. So if operands dot length equal to 2, that means it can be evaluated, otherwise it can't be evaluated. In that case what I'm going to do is operand 1 will be assigned with double dot pass double of operands of 0. Operands of 0, that is first element in the operands array which is of type string gets assigned to operand 1 after converting it into of type double. Then operand 2 is equal to double dot pass double of operands of 1. Okay, operands of 1. Okay, so now I'm going to use switch case, switch based on operation. So C is nothing but the symbol, it can be either plus, minus, star, or division. So based on C I'm going to execute one of the cases within the switch. So case for division, okay, case for division. So here I am going to write, so answer is equal to operand 1 divided by operand 2. Operand 1 divided by operand 2, then break. Okay, then case multiplication, that is answer is equal to operand 1 into operand 2, break. Then case plus, so answer is equal to operand 1 plus operand 2, break. Then case minus, answer is equal to operand 1 minus operand 2. Okay, so always a little better if you give some space. Okay, so then okay, so this is about switch. Then so this is the end of if. So here I am going to open else. So if there are more than two operands after splitting the expression, in that case there is some error in the expression. So in that case I am going to display a toast dot make text of get base context comma text. I am going to display invalid input in the toast, comma toast dot length long dot show. Okay, this is the toast. Okay, so this is the ending of else. Then outside else, so what I am going to do is I am going to return the answer. I am going to return the answer. Okay, Okay, so this is the calculate function. This is if, this is the end of else. I am returning answer. Answer is calculated in switch statement. Okay, now I think it's complete now. Okay, it's complete now. So now what I'll do is I'll just execute the application and let's see the working. Okay, so Gradle build is running. Okay, have to wait for some time. So installation is taking place. Okay, so installed. So app is launched. So 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3.0. What I'll do is I'll increase the font size of the edit text. So here I'm going to increase the size because it's not clearly visible. So I'll make it some 30 SP. Let's try to change the color also. Text color, I'm going to make it as black. Okay, now let's execute and check. Okay, let's see. So again success. So now okay, I think width of the edit text is not sufficient, so I need to increase the height. I have to increase a bit so that entire text can be accommodated in that. So now I'm going to execute it once again. Okay, so yes, Gradle build is running. Okay, installation done. Okay, let's see. So now 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3.0 plus 3 is equal to 6.0 minus 3 is equal to 3.0 into 2 is equal to 6.0. Clear. Okay, now 3.2 plus 3.1 is equal to 6.3. Okay, so this is the working of simple calculator. Okay, now if suppose I enter an invalid expression, 9 into 6 divided by 3 is equal to, it's saying invalid input. You can see the toast here, it says it's invalid input. Okay, so this is the working of simple calculator. Okay, now I'll just give a brief explanation of this Java code. So design, I hope all of you understood. So here what you need to do is, for all the buttons you are creating the handle. Similarly for edit text also you have created one variable. So first step is to link variables in the Java file with the appropriate element or the view or the widgets in the activity. So button 1 is linked with element with ID button 1 using the find view by ID method. So this has to be done for all the buttons as well as for the edit text, which is represented by the handle result. Then once you have the handle for all the widgets or the views which are there in the activity, next step is to set on click listener. So we have set on click listener. So on click method is the listener for all the buttons. So whenever you click on any of the button, control goes to this on click method. So here in on click method you are checking if the button pressed is C, what to do, button pressed is 0, what to do, 1, what to do. So action is same for all buttons except for equal. Only for equal there is a difference. For all buttons you are appending the text corresponding to the button. Only for button C you are going to set text. For all other buttons you are going to append. For button equal, code is bit different. So whenever button equal is pressed, what you have to do is expression which is there in the text box has to be stored in a local variable, and you need to check whether expression contains division or multiplication of plus or minus. Based on that, you are calling the calculate method by passing the appropriate argument. So calculate method, it it checks whether the expression is valid or not. If it is valid, it returns the result. Okay, otherwise it calls the toast. So if expression is valid, there has to be two operands. That means it's a valid expression. So if there are two operands, you are going to evaluate the expression based on the operator which is present in the expression. So result is returned by the calculate method, and result is used to set the text for the edit text. So this is how the simple calculator application works. I hope all of you understood, and thank you for listening.